She killed 6 highborn commanders with her bare hands while breastfeeding me. The Clay clan called it treason, and they dragged her by the hair, tied her to a post, and made the lowborn villagers watch her die, just to remind us we were never meant to rise. I was too young and weak to save her, but I still remember her last words.
I will find you in every lifetime.
Years passed, and I trained in the shadows of the mountains. Every sunrise was my enemy. Every sunset, my test. I struck stones till my knuckles bled. I meditated under freezing waterfalls until my body went numb. I carried the weight of her name as my only weapon. Then came the night of the blood moon. 1,000 torches lit the valley, and the Clay clan marched once again, hunting the survivors of my mother's bloodline. I faced them alone. 10 men fell before I even drew breath. 20 before I bled. When dawn broke, I stood surrounded by corpses, and for the first time, I felt her presence, watching, proud. I became the strongest warrior alive. A master of chi, my spirit sharpened, my will unbreakable. But fate is cruel. Before I could claim vengeance, I was betrayed, poisoned by my own brother in arms. My body fell, but my soul refused to move on. It wandered in the universe. A mystical void tore open, and I felt a soul leaving a body, a perfect vessel for my revenge. I awoke, staring up at the roof of a small wooden cottage, in a body that wasn't my own. From the depths of beyond, my soul was brought forth to take Nathan's place. I could feel myself within the broken body of a boy who died before his time. Luckily, I have a talent for revenge. My mind filled with fog. The memories of my previous life faded, replaced by the memories of this boy.
Brother, you're awake.
I glanced up at a familiar face, although I did not know it myself. The name came to my lips.
Amelia.
A smile spread across her face through tears of joy as she fussed over me.
I was scared you'd never wake up again.
My mouth was dry, so Amelia held a cup to my lips. I tasted the blessedly cool water, flavored with mint.
What happened to me?
Her face went dark as she spit the name.
Jason Clay.
When I heard the name, more of Nathan's memories took shape in my mind. Not just the fight that killed him. I remembered every time Jason bullied and humiliated Nathan. The door flew open, and Ulrich Hayfield rushed to my bedside. My new memories provided his name, and the fact that he was a lowly noble in this kingdom. My own father was a brutal, cruel person, but these new memories showed Ulrich to be a good man. His eyes were wide with disbelief.
My son, you're alive. The healers said it was impossible.
Ulrich and Amelia hugged me tightly while he told me I didn't reply.
Take as much time as you need to heal.
They didn't need to know that the boy who once held this body died, and that I have taken his place. It wouldn't do them any good, and do even less for me, so I only nodded carefully. He was right about one thing. I needed time to recover before I could seek out revenge. First for Nathan, then for myself. 2 days later, I finally had enough strength to visit the garden.
What is wrong with this body?
In my previous life, I had mastered every known fighting technique by honing my chi, the mystical spirit power within all living creatures. Nathan Hayfield had no chi. I gritted my teeth, moving my arms and legs to simulate fending off an armed attacker. My soul easily guided Nathan's 12-year-old limbs. Attack, parry, riposte, dodge and counterattack. But that wasn't enough. I needed more power. There was a blank space in my mind that fluttered in and out of existence, like a spark trying to catch fire. I knew this word in my old life. It was rare even there, and I had heard no mention of it since waking up in this body. Delving into the dark corners of my mind, I managed to form the word on my lips.
Azura.
Blue energy erupted from my chest like a massive shockwave, sending a flock of birds fleeing from the trees around me into the sky. Azura was one of the easiest techniques to learn, but few people ever mastered it. Masters in my time used it as an introduction to training your chi. Even though I couldn't sense any chi in my new body, I could still tap into Azura's power.
Azura I.
As I spoke the words, blue flames filled my vision. At first they seemed like random shapes, but they shifted to highlight living creatures around me, indicating their threat level. I knew it would be even more useful in the presence of other people. I spent the afternoon practicing every use of the Azura spell that I could remember. At first, it fizzled out almost immediately, but after hours of training, I was able to sustain it for several seconds. Before I realized it, the sun had set and darkness fell over the garden. My focus was interrupted by the sounds of people approaching through the forest.
Azora I.
This time, the spell allowed me to see two men in hoods making their way toward the garden. It warned me that they were armed and dangerous. I turned to flee but heard another set of footsteps approaching from the house, so I climbed the nearest tree to hide in its branches. I held my breath as I watched Ulrich move into the moonlight and bow respectfully at the two hooded men.
Arturia Spellwright, Grimgor Raven.
The two men removed their hoods, but they didn't return Ulrich's bow.
Why did you summon me in the middle of the night?
As I examined the taller man, Nathan's memories informed me that he was Arturia Spellwright.
We came out of respect for your family, of course. We heard your son was on the brink of death after his unfortunate accident with Jason Clay.
Ulrich's anger flared.
Accident? Jason knew what he was doing.
My new memories identified the squat man as Grimgor Raven.
The Clay family is very close with the Ravens, so be careful when you throw accusations.
Arturius cut off his companion.
We come with an offer from the Lord High Raven.
The air seemed to tense at the name. I searched, my new memories, but Nathan didn't have any specific facts about the Lord High Raven, just a sense of creeping dread. Ulrich remained defiant.
Why doesn't the great Remus Raven come speak for himself?
Grimgor grunted.
You're not important enough to be worth his time.
Gregor, no need to pester the poor bugger. He nearly lost his son. We've just come to deliver a message.
Arturius handed Ulrich a letter, which he immediately tore open to read.
The Lord High Raven believes it to be a generous offer.
Ulrich spat at Grimgor's feet.
I will not forfeit my family's nobility to please your Lord High Raven.
Arturius grinned.
Remus thought you might respond this way, so he also sent a second message.
The two men grinned as they turned and walked away. At the same time, 4 men dressed completely in black emerged from the shadows. They drew daggers that reflected moonlight from their sharpened blades. I could tell by Ulrich's build that he was a formidable fighter in his youth, but those days were behind him. There was no way that he could fend off 4 assassins. I had no choice but to act.
Azora Fist.
Summoning the blue light to my hand, I dove from my hiding spot in the tree above and punched Ulrich in the face. The blow was enough to knock him unconscious, as I hoped. I couldn't risk him seeing what I was about to do in his son's body. The 4 assassins paused, confused by the sight of the 12-year-old boy in front of him, who had just attacked his own father. So I took advantage of their confusion. Even though I spent the entire afternoon training, I could still only sustain the Azura spell for a few seconds, so I had to use it wisely.
Azora Feet.
Blue power surrounded my legs as I leaped forward. The spell allowed me to step on empty air. I rushed at one of the assassins and kicked him in the face. The others snapped out of their confusion, swinging their daggers erratically. I maneuvered Nathan's body, narrowly avoiding the blades while delivering punches and kicks to the 3 men. But I knew that wouldn't be enough.
Azora Fist.
As one of the assassins stabbed at me, I grabbed his wrist, breaking the man's arm to bend it back and drive the knife into his own neck. The last remaining assassins attacked at once, but I kicked the knives from their hands, catching them by the handles before they hit the ground and spinning to drive each blade into the other man's chest. The first assassin who I had knocked over with my Azura kick scrambled back to his feet, staring at me standing over his 3 dead companions. I lowered my voice as deep as I could to tell him,
Now you can deliver this message back to Lord High Raven.
Frightened, the assassins sprinted into the forest. I could hear Ulrich beginning to stir, so I slipped into the darkness as well. I don't know how he reacted when he saw the dead assassins, but I can imagine it was the same shock as he expressed the next day when I said,
Father, sister, I want to return to the academy.
If Nathan had transformed into a donkey at that moment, it wouldn't have shocked Ulrich and Amelia more than those words. Ulrich shook his head.
You can't be serious, my boy.
Amelia agreed.
Nathan, what are you talking about?
I shrugged. This was the reaction that I had expected. For the briefest moment, I considered telling them the truth.
Nathan Hayfield is dead, and now the soul of a warrior inhabits his body.
Instead, I told them,
If I don't follow in Father's footsteps and become a knight, our family will lose its nobility and our lands will be handed off to someone else, like Lord High Raven.
Ulrich grabbed his mug of ale and downed the whole thing in one gulp.
They beat you within inches of death, and none of the masters stopped it. What's to prevent them from doing it again?
Nathan had died defending his family's honor, and during the little time I had spent inhabiting his body, I understood why. His father displayed a true sense of respect and responsibility towards everyone around him, and his sister spent so much time doting over me or anyone else in pain. I don't know if it was an effect of Nathan's memories merging with my own, but I felt compelled to protect them and seek vengeance against everyone involved in Nathan's death. Finally, Amelia spoke up.
I agree with Nathan.
Ulrich snapped at his daughter,
Amelia Hayfield.
but she stood, cutting him off.
You try to hide it from us, but I know the truth. The other lords want to take everything we have and leave us as homeless vagrants. We can't let our family name fade from history. If we don't fight back against them, they'll take everything from us.
Ulrich hesitated.
When your mother was dying, I swore to her that I would protect you both from the evils of this world. I can't let you throw your life away.
I stood.
You've done your best, but you can't protect this family on your own. I promise you, what happened before will not happen again.
I could see the pride in Ulrich's eyes, a look that I never received from my own father.
You're right, son. I want you to walk into the halls of that academy with your head held high.
The next day I would begin my journey back to the academy, as well as my quest for revenge. But I had no idea the shock that waited for me. Walking through the academy gates, I watched the throng of students rushing back and forth. Some were heading for the ancient library to study. Others were practicing their warrior stances. A few were exchanging flirtatious winks and smiles, as teenagers do. It was at the same time so alien to me and extremely familiar. Even if it was thousands of years since I was this age, young people never change. But everyone stopped to watch as I walked by.
Is that Nathan Hayfield? I thought he was dead.
I was there when Jason Clay cracked his skull during a duel.
How much do you want to bet that he doesn't last a week?
A booming voice echoed from the doorways to the Great Hall, overpowering everyone else.
Shouldn't you all be in class?
The students rushed away as Headmaster Drogan Blackwood descended the Great Hall steps, heading directly for me. I guess my first fight is with bureaucracy.
So your injuries are fully healed?
I glared at the headmaster.
My injuries didn't seem to concern you when I was bleeding together in your arena.
Dorgan snarled.
A simple yes, sir would suffice, Hayfield.
Then yes, sir, Headmaster Blackwood.
Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
I took advantage of the moment.
Why didn't you stop the fight? You were there. You could have saved Nathan's... You could have saved my life.
The headmaster paused, obviously not used to being challenged this way.
That's enough, Mr. Hayfield. You're late for class.
I turned and strode away, but I knew the conversation wasn't finished. I didn't make it very far before I heard a voice shout.
Nathan, you're alive!
A mop-headed youth ran up, wrapping his arms around me in a massive bear hug. Nathan's memories provided me with his name.
Baylor, not so tight. My wounds haven't completely sealed.
The young man released me, smiling so wide that it looked like his head would split in half.
Jason Clay has been bragging to everyone that he killed you.
I could understand Baylor's happiness. He and Nathan were outcasts. They only had each other as friends. Through Nathan's memories, I could see every time they defended each other from beatings and humiliations. We chatted for hours during our training sessions. Or I should say that Baylor chatted for hours. He loved to talk, and I needed all the information that I could get about this world. It broke my heart that I had to deceive Baylor, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him the truth about his best friend. Eventually, we needed to part ways when our schedules diverged, but we made plans to meet before dinner. In truth, I wanted time alone to continue training in Azura techniques. Charging my punches and kicks were only a small fraction of the spell's abilities, but each new technique required more chi than I could summon in Nathan's body. I wasn't training for long before a student ran over, breathing heavily. Nathan's memories told me his name was Merrick Symington.
Nathan, you have to come quickly.
What is it?
Jason Clay. He's got Baylor.
I purposefully hadn't sought out Jason on my first day back at the academy. I wanted to get accustomed before confronting him, but he had other ideas.
Where are they?
outside the academy gates. But what are you going to do? Jason Clay nearly killed you before.
I didn't answer. I could feel the anger building within me. I marched to the center of campus and puffed out my chest.
Students of the Academy, Jason Clay has kidnapped Baylor Graham. I will face him and set my friend free. If you wish to witness my vengeance, follow me.
Without elaborating, I walked away, but I could tell from the sounds behind me that a crowd was on my heels.
What is this idiot doing?
Surely he knows it's a trap.
Jason will really kill him this time.
They had no idea what a show they were about to see. I eventually reached the gates of the academy and walked out into the forest. A burlap sack was suspended upside down from a tree, wiggling violently and making muffled noises of protest.
Azura Eye.
The blue flames filled my vision, allowing me to see Jason Clay and a half dozen of his cronies waiting behind trees. That's when I realized this ambush was just to play with me. Well, if Clay and his goons want to play with me, then I will play with them. I bent down and picked up several stones. Then I stood, holding my left hand flat and carefully arranging the stones in a semicircle. One by one, I flicked the stones with my right hand, sending them flying into the forest. Each rock disappeared into the brush, followed by a dull thunk and a grunt of pain. Every single one hit true. A second later, Clay and cronies stumbled out from the trees, rubbing their heads. Jason sneered.
Hayfield, you worm. You couldn't just slink away to your pigsty of a home and die, could you?
I shook my head.
Not until I had the chance to humiliate you in front of the entire academy.
Jason cracked his knuckles.
There's no teachers or headmaster around to stop us.
I grinned.
How unlucky for you.
How will Nathan fare in battle against Jason and his friends now that he has the soul of a warrior within him? How will he bring honor back to his family name and prove himself at the academy? And why did the soul of a warrior who died thousands of years ago become trapped in the body of a dead 12-year-old boy? Join the millions of listeners worldwide who love the epic martial arts fantasy Soul of a Warrior by clicking the link below to download the Pocket FM app. Pocket FM is your go-to source for audio entertainment with hundreds of exciting titles in every genre. Drama, romance, action, fantasy, science fiction. There's something for everyone. Click on the Install Now button below the video. On the Play Store, click the Install button. Then click on the Open button to enjoy free episodes of Soul of a Warrior, only on Pocket FM.